Good evening, everyone. Have you ever found yourself staring at the clock late at night, wondering why it's so hard to fall asleep? Or maybe you've noticed that no matter how early you wake up, you still feel tired throughout the day. You're not alone. This is something many seniors over 70 experience. And today we're going to dive into why sleep patterns change as we age and what time doctors recommend for bed to help you feel your best. Let me start with a story. A few years ago, I met a woman named Margaret. She was in her mid-70s and had always been active, gardening, volunteering, even taking long walks every morning. But then she started feeling sluggish, like her energy wasn't lasting through the day. One day, while chatting with her doctor about memory lapses and fatigue, they discovered the culprit, her bedtime routine. Margaret admitted she'd been staying up later than usual, watching TV or reading until midnight. Her doctor suggested shifting her schedule, and within weeks, Margaret noticed a huge difference, not just in her energy levels, but also in her mood and focus during the day. Stories like Margaret's remind us how much our sleep habits impact our overall health. Did you know that according to the National Sleep Foundation, older adults need just as much sleep as younger people, around 7 to 9 hours per night, but often struggle to get it? As we age, changes in our bodies can make falling asleep harder, staying asleep longer, or waking up refreshed more challenging. That's why understanding when to go to bed and sticking to a consistent routine is one of the most important things you can do for your well-being. Now, before we dive deeper, I want to make one thing clear. This video is for informational purposes only and is based on publicly available research. Everyone's health is different, so always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your lifestyle, diet, or exercise routine. Scientific knowledge is always evolving, and what works for one person may not work for another. Alright, let's get started. If you've ever wondered whether there's an ideal bedtime for seniors, the answer might surprise you. It's all about finding what works best for you. However, studies suggest that going to bed between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. could be particularly beneficial. Why? Well, our bodies operate on something called a circadian rhythm, which is essentially an internal clock that regulates when we feel awake and when we feel sleepy. This clock is influenced by light exposure, activity levels, and yes, even the time we hit the sack. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that aligning your sleep schedule with your natural circadian rhythm can improve everything from brain function to heart health. But here's the catch. It's not just about the time you go to bed. It's also about consistency. Going to bed at wildly different times each night can throw off your body's internal clock, leaving you feeling groggy and out of sync. Think of it like watering a plant. If you water it at the same time every day, it thrives. But if you skip days or water it sporadically, it might struggle to grow. The same principle applies to your sleep. So how can you create a consistent bedtime routine? Start by setting a goal. If you aim to wake up at 6 a.m., count backwards 7 to 9 hours to determine your ideal bedtime. For example, if you need 8 hours of sleep, aiming for a 10 p.m. bedtime would be perfect. Of course, life doesn't always follow a strict schedule, but the closer you stick to this routine, the better you'll feel. Another tip: create a relaxing pre-bed ritual. Maybe it's sipping a cup of caffeine-free tea, doing some gentle stretches, or listening to calming music. These small steps signal to your brain that it's time to wind down, making it easier to drift off. And speaking of winding down, try to avoid screens, like phones, tablets, or TVs, at least an hour before bed. Blue light emitted from these devices can trick your brain into thinking it's daytime, making it harder to fall asleep. Now, you might be thinking, I've tried setting a bedtime, but my body just won't cooperate. That's completely normal. Many seniors find themselves waking up multiple times during the night or feeling restless. In fact, a study published in the journal Sleep Medicine Reviews found that nearly half of adults over 65 report trouble sleeping. But don't worry, we'll talk about strategies to address those issues in just a moment. Before we move on, I want to share a quick insight. Did you know that poor sleep has been linked to an increased risk of conditions like dementia, diabetes, and even heart disease? On the flip side, getting enough quality sleep can boost your immune system, sharpen your memory, and even improve your mood. It's amazing how such a simple habit can have such profound effects. Now that we've covered the importance of bedtime consistency and creating a calming nighttime routine, let's shift gears slightly. Next, we'll explore how daily habits outside of bedtime, like diet, exercise, and social connections, can either support or sabotage your sleep. Because believe it or not, what you do during the day plays a big role in how well you rest at night. So stick around, because we're just getting started. Alright, let's keep going. Now that we've talked about the importance of bedtime consistency and creating a calming nighttime routine, it's time to zoom out a bit and look at how your daily habits can either help or hinder your sleep. Because here's the thing, what you do during the day doesn't just affect your waking hours, it sets the stage for how well you'll rest at night. Let's start with something most of us love, food. Have you ever noticed how eating a big, heavy meal right before bed leaves you tossing and turning? Or maybe you've had the opposite experience, where skipping dinner altogether leaves you wide awake with hunger pangs. Both extremes can disrupt your sleep, but there's a sweet spot in between. Research from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine suggests that eating lighter meals earlier in the evening, ideally 2 to 3 hours before bed, can improve sleep quality. Why? Because digestion requires energy, and when your body is busy breaking down food, it's harder to fully relax and drift off. For example, I know someone named Helen who used to snack on chips and cookies late at night while watching TV. She'd often wake up feeling sluggish and unrest. Her doctor suggested swapping those snacks for healthier options like a small bowl of yogurt or a handful of nuts. And guess what? Not only did she start sleeping better, but she also noticed her energy levels improved during the day. Now let's talk about movement. You might be thinking, I'm too old to start exercising now. But hear me out. Even light physical activity can make a world of difference when it comes to sleep. A study published in the Journals of Gerontology found that seniors who engaged in regular exercise fell asleep faster, stayed asleep longer, and reported better overall sleep quality than those who were sedentary. And the best part? It doesn't have to be anything intense. A 15-minute walk around the block, some gentle yoga, or even stretching in your living room can do wonders. Take Bill, for instance. He was in his early 70s and hadn't exercised in years. One day, he decided to take a short walk every morning after breakfast. At first, he could barely make it down the street without feeling winded, but over time, he built up his stamina. Not only did he lose a few pounds, but he also started sleeping like a baby. He told me, I didn't realize how much sitting around was affecting my sleep until I got moving again. But here's an important tip, timing matters. Exercising too close to bedtime can actually make it harder to fall asleep because it raises your heart rate and body temperature. Aim to finish any vigorous activity at least 3 hours before bed. For gentler activities like yoga or stretching, though, you can do them closer to bedtime as part of your wind-down routine. Now let's shift gears a little and talk about something that's often overlooked, social connections. Loneliness and isolation are unfortunately common among seniors, and they can take a toll on both mental and physical health. Did you know that a study from Brigham Young University found that loneliness is linked to poor sleep quality? On the flip side, staying socially engaged can boost mood, reduce stress, and even promote deeper, more restorative sleep. Think about it. When you spend time with friends or family, laughing, sharing stories, or simply enjoying each other's company, it lifts your spirits and helps you feel more connected. These positive emotions carry over into the night, making it easier to relax and unwind. So whether it's joining a book club, volunteering, or just calling a loved one regularly, finding ways to stay socially active can benefit your sleep and your overall well-being in surprising ways. Of course, I know life isn't always perfect, and sometimes circumstances beyond our control can interfere with sleep. Maybe you're dealing with pain, anxiety, or medication side effects that make it hard to rest. If that's the case, don't hesitate to reach out to your doctor. There are solutions available, from adjusting medications to trying cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI, which has been shown to be incredibly effective for improving sleep without relying on pills. Speaking of pills, let me share a quick cautionary note. While sleep aids might seem like a quick fix, they're not always the best long-term solution. Many come with side effects, and some can even lead to dependency. Instead, focus on building healthy habits that support natural sleep patterns. Trust me, it's worth the effort. Now, as we wrap up this section, I want to leave you with a thought. Sleep isn't just about closing your eyes and hoping for the best. It's deeply intertwined with every aspect of your daily life. From what you eat to how much you move to the people you connect with, all these factors play a role in helping or hindering your rest. So now that we've covered how diet, exercise, and social engagement impact sleep, let's move on to something equally important: overcoming common challenges that seniors face when trying to establish a healthy sleep routine. Whether it's managing stress, dealing with nighttime awakenings, or simply staying motivated, we'll tackle these obstacles head-on and give you practical tools to overcome them. Stick around, you won't want to miss this. Alright, let's dive into one of the most important parts of this conversation: how to overcome the challenges that can make good sleep feel so elusive. Because let's face it, no matter how much we talk about bedtime routines and daily habits, life doesn't always cooperate. Maybe you're dealing with chronic pain, or perhaps anxiety keeps your mind racing at night. Or maybe it's just hard to stay motivated when you've been struggling with sleep for years. Whatever the obstacle is, you're not alone, and there are ways to work through it. Let me start with a story about someone named Patricia. She was in her late 70s and had always prided herself on being active and independent. But after a knee surgery left her with lingering pain, she found herself waking up multiple times during the night. It got to the point where she dreaded going to bed because she knew she wouldn't get any rest. Sound familiar? For many seniors, pain is a major barrier to sleep, whether it's from arthritis, back issues, or other conditions. The good news is that there are strategies to manage pain without letting it take over your nights. For starters, positioning matters. If you have joint pain, sleeping on your side with a pillow between your knees can help align your spine and reduce discomfort. Some people find relief by using a supportive mattress or even adding a foam topper for extra cushioning. And don't underestimate the power of heat therapy. A warm bath or heating pad before bed can relax tense muscles and ease soreness. Patricia tried a combination of these techniques, along with some gentle stretches recommended by her physical therapist, and noticed a big improvement. She told me, "I used to think I'd never sleep well again, but now I wake up feeling refreshed most mornings." It's proof that small changes can add up to big results. Now let's talk about another common challenge: stress and anxiety. Have you ever lain awake at night, your mind racing with worries about health, finances, or family? It happens to all of us, and it can be especially tough for seniors who are navigating major life transitions like retirement or losing loved ones. The key here is finding ways to calm your mind before bed. One technique that's gained a lot of attention in recent years is mindfulness meditation. A study from JAMA Internal Medicine found that mindfulness practices can significantly improve sleep quality, particularly in older adults. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just sitting quietly for 5 minutes, focusing on your breath, and letting go of intrusive thoughts can make a difference. You might also try journaling before bed. Writing down your thoughts or making a to-do list for tomorrow can help clear your mind and signal that it's time to rest. For Patricia, journaling became a game changer. She started keeping a notebook by her bedside and would jot down anything that was bothering her before turning off the light. "It sounds simple," she said, "but it really helped me stop replaying things in my head." Another hurdle that many seniors face is staying motivated to prioritize sleep. After all, if you've spent decades burning the candle at both ends, it can be hard to shift gears and embrace a new routine. But here's the thing: motivation often comes from seeing progress, no matter how small. Start with one change, whether it's setting a consistent bedtime, cutting back on caffeine in the afternoon, or taking a short walk each day, and build from there. Take Jim, for example. He was in his early 80s and had always been a night owl. When his doctor suggested he try going to bed earlier, he laughed and said, "You might as well ask me to sprout wings and fly." But eventually, he decided to experiment. He started by shifting his bedtime just 15 minutes earlier each week until he reached his goal. Within a month, he noticed he had more energy during the day and felt sharper mentally. "I didn't think it would work," he admitted, "but now I'm a believer." And here's an encouraging fact. Research from Johns Hopkins University shows that even small increases in movement, like standing up and stretching every hour, can contribute to better sleep and overall health. So don't feel like you need to overhaul your entire lifestyle overnight. Progress, not perfection, is what counts. Now let's touch on something that's often overlooked but incredibly powerful: mindset. Many people assume that aging means slowing down, but science tells us otherwise. Staying curious, learning new skills, and maintaining a sense of purpose can have a profound impact on both mental and physical health. Did you know that a study published in Psychological Science found that seniors who viewed aging positively were 44% more likely to recover quickly from disabilities? Think about hobbies or activities that bring you joy. Whether it's painting, gardening, volunteering, or spending time with grandchildren, staying engaged gives you something to look forward to, and that positivity carries over into your sleep. When you feel fulfilled during the day, it's easier to relax at night. Before we wrap up this section, I want to leave you with one final thought. Sleep isn't just a luxury, it's a cornerstone of healthy aging. Every choice you make, from what time you go to bed to how you spend your days, has the potential to support or sabotage your rest. And while it might take some trial and error to find what works best for you, the effort is worth it. So now that we've covered overcoming challenges and building motivation, let's move on to the last piece of the puzzle: putting it all together. In the next section, we'll summarize the key takeaways, offer a simple challenge to get you started, and remind you why taking charge of your sleep is one of the best gifts you can give yourself. Stay tuned, you're almost there. Alright, we've covered a lot of ground today. Everything from the importance of bedtime consistency to overcoming challenges like pain, stress, and motivation. Now it's time to bring it all together and leave you with some practical steps you can start using right away. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about sleep, it's about living your best life, no matter your age. Let's recap the key takeaways. First, finding an ideal bedtime that works for you is crucial. Research suggests that going to bed between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. can align with your body's natural circadian rhythm, helping you wake up feeling refreshed and ready to tackle the day. But remember, it's not just about the time, it's about consistency. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends, trains your body to fall into a predictable sleep pattern. We also talked about the role of daily habits in supporting better sleep. Eating lighter meals earlier in the evening, staying physically active during the day, and nurturing social connections all contribute to healthier rest. And let's not forget the power of a calming pre-bed routine. Whether it's sipping herbal tea, doing some gentle stretches, or practicing mindfulness meditation, these small rituals signal to your brain that it's time to wind down. But what about those obstacles that can make good sleep feel out of reach? Whether it's pain, anxiety, or simply a lack of motivation, there are solutions. For pain, try adjusting your sleeping position, using supportive bedding, or incorporating heat therapy. For stress, journaling or mindfulness practices can help quiet a racing mind. And for motivation, focus on small, incremental changes. You don't need to overhaul your entire lifestyle overnight. Progress, no matter how gradual, is still progress. Now, here's where I want to challenge you. Pick one thing, just one, that you can start doing today to improve your sleep. Maybe it's setting a consistent bedtime, swapping out late-night snacks for something lighter, or taking a short walk in the morning. Whatever you choose, commit to it for the next week and see how it feels. Small actions add up over time, and before you know it, you'll be reaping the benefits of better rest. I'll leave you with this inspiring fact. According to Dr. Michael Greger, a leading expert in nutrition and longevity, lifestyle choices like diet, exercise, and sleep can significantly reduce the risk of chronic diseases and improve overall quality of life. This means that the choices you make today, whether it's going to bed a little earlier or adding more movement to your day, can have a lasting impact on your health and happiness. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these tips resonated most with you? Are you planning to adjust your bedtime, tweak your diet, or try mindfulness meditation? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one, and your insights might inspire someone else who's watching. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more tips on healthy aging. Sharing this video with a friend or loved one could also make a big difference in their life. Together, we can create a community of people committed to thriving at every age. Finally, I want to leave you with this thought. Aging doesn't mean losing control of your health. It means taking charge of it in smarter, more intentional ways. You have the power to shape your future, one night of restful sleep at a time. So here's to feeling energized, sharp, and ready to embrace whatever comes your way. Here's to living your best life at any age.